You and I were talking a second ago about the Democratic Party a little bit broadly. We're coming up on a year now since Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. Do you think the Democratic Party has learned the right lessons from her loss about where it should head moving forward?
You know, I'm not sure we have. I think we have to take a hard look at ourselves in the mirror and recognize that we've lost, not just in 2016, but in several elections before that. We're in the worst position we've been since the 1920s in the House, the Senate, and the White House. We're not in a governing position at all. And if we don't realize that we are partly to blame for that, that we've lost touch with a lot of American voters, we've lost touch with a lot of voters who used to be on our side, then we're not going to be able to move forward. So rather than just opposing the Trump administration and telling everybody about how awful the Republicans are, let's show a vision for our own future. Let's talk about what Democrats can do for the country. Let's talk about a Democratic tax reform plan, a Democratic national security plan, a Democratic plan to build infrastructure. That's what we should be talking about, a real vision for the future.
Congressman, I'm a branding guy. If you came to me and said, this is what we want to do, I would say to you, what's the message? That's great, and I agree with you. They can no longer just go, you know, Trump sucks. What's the message? Give me the message. I got to go back. I got to do ads. Just really make it tight for me.
You know, look, if I had the most brilliant message, I probably wouldn't be here trying to answer this question. But look, I think we've got to talk about how every American, everybody, no matter where you live, can have a role in the economy in the future. Because what's happening right now in America is an awful lot of people are losing their jobs, not to immigrants. That's a scapegoat, not because we're closing the coal mines, I think everybody knows that, but because jobs are getting automated out of existence. You know, American workers are standing on factory floors right now, not worried that their job's going to be taken by an immigrant, but worried that it's going to be taken by a robot. And rather than claiming that we're going to fix this by going back into the coal mines, let's face the problem head on and talk about how we grow jobs in the new economy, how we make jobs that every American can have a role in, not just if you live in, you know, a coastal city, not just if you're in Silicon Valley, but what are people in Indiana what role are they going to play in the new economy? That's what we should be talking about. There aren't easy solutions, but at least that recognizes the problem. Let's talk about the future of work here in America.
So why do you suspect, Congressman, that the leadership of your party isn't going out and making that case? Do you think Democratic leaders at the national level are too focused on identity politics, for example?
Well, look, I think we're focused on a lot of things that just don't really matter to the voters that we've lost.
Like what?
And, well, you know, I mean, some people call it identity politics. There's nothing wrong with identity politics. That's sort of a false dichotomy. Some of the fights that we have over the right to marry whom you love and whatnot, that's really important. I mean, I want my own brother to be able to marry who he loves, right? But that doesn't mean you can't talk about the economy. That doesn't mean that Democrats shouldn't have a plan to move this country forward. And I think what we need in the Democratic Party more than anything is just some new leadership, a new generation of leadership. I've been recruiting veterans to run in swing districts across the country. I've endorsed 12 candidates already. They're incredidible people. I mean, I always introduce them by saying, thank God they're not running against me, because they're such impressive folks. We've got a Navy helicopter pilot in New Jersey. She's just knocking the socks off people when folks see her. The best campaign out of the season comes out of Amy McGrath down in Kentucky, who was the first woman to become an F-18 pilot in the Marines. These are the kind of leaders that Americans can trust, regardless of party label. If we get people like that in the Democratic Party, I think we can move this country forward.
Mark?